Hey guys, so this is going to be a review of episode 2 of Incorporated, which is a new show on Sci-Fi, and I just posted the review for episode 1 on my blog, and we're going to do this one as a video. I really liked how this episode gave us some flashbacks to the past to help. I think it helped in a few different ways. Like, it helped establish how the world came to be what it is in the show. Particularly kind of fascinated by the idea that there were refugee camps as climate change got worse, and then those changed, and like those were separate from the red zones, but then they were like they wanted to get out of the refugee camp to the red zone, which is interesting when you consider what we see in the future with everyone in like the red and green zones. So we got LGBT representation in this episode, which was great and awesome. There were some fight scenes in this episode that were difficult for me to watch. I do think that they have a purpose in the story, but I had trouble watching them. Also, Laura, she keeps like cutting into her skin, and every single time that happens, and usually it happens suddenly enough that I can't like turn away before it happens, but that really freaks me out too. I hate watching those things, but I'm assuming that that has something important to do with her character. But those like 2 parts of the episode were difficult for me. I'm getting kind of frustrated with Ben as a character. Like, he's kind of set up, like he's supposed to be like working undercover, kind of infiltrating his way through the company, yet so much of what he's done so far seems really kind of stupid. I don't know if stupid is the right word, maybe risky is, and maybe it's like there's such high security that he goes into these things knowing that there's a lot of risk and a lot of chance to be caught, and he like accepts that, so I should go easy on him because he knows what he's doing has such a high risk. But I just feel at this point he's done enough that seems really stupid because it's so easy for him to get caught that I'm feeling frustrated with him. I cannot remember his coworker's name because I'm terrible with characters' names, but the guy who sees him putting the thing under his desk towards the end of the episode, that just seemed kind of like the entire office is glass, which is a great choice considering how they're watching everyone constantly. But just the idea that your office is made of glass and thinking you can do anything in private, and I know he can make it like frost over or whatever, but just the idea of when you have like plain glass, like messing with this thing you're not supposed to have, seems kind of stupid. Like, you should be more cautious than that. So it was kind of frustrating to watch that. Like, I know it's a plot point, you want him to be close to getting caught because it creates tension or whatever, but it just seems really stupid for him to be doing something he's not supposed to do in a glass room. I'm feeling kind of frustrated with Ben right now just because I want to feel like he's competent, and I'm not entirely sure that I believe that he's competent at what he's doing. Like, I know you want him close to being caught for tension, but he seems strangely close to being caught considering this is only the 2nd episode. I'm assuming his coworker is going to like blackmail him in some way or use the information against him. I'm very interested in Ben's mother-in-law because I feel like she either knows that Ben is up to something, which she should at this point, I think, or she at least suspects it. And I think she's going to cover for him, not because of any warm feelings for his sake necessarily, but because he's married to her daughter. And as we saw in this episode, if something happens to Ben, then Laura would be sent to the red zone too. Obviously her mother's high enough up that maybe she could do something, but that would also like possibly make her look bad if she gave extra attention to her daughter in that way. I just feel like because he's married to her daughter, she is going to try to protect Ben in some way, and I feel like that's going to happen rather soon. It's interesting because, like I said, I don't think she's doing it for his sake, and I don't think she particularly cares about him, but she has been shown to have like some level of caring for her daughter, even though their relationship is strained, and I definitely don't think she wants her daughter to go to the red zone, so I think she's going to end up protecting Ben in some way purely for Laura's sake. I think we're gonna see that play out more really soon. Yeah, I'd say that overall it was an interesting episode and a good episode. I enjoyed getting more like background information and learning more, even though the only really downside I have about this episode is Ben as a character, just because I feel that he's acting somewhat stupid. Reckless is a better word than stupid. And of course he's doing something risky, so it's going to be like a bit reckless, I guess, but I feel like he could be more careful, and so it's frustrating me that he doesn't seem to be more careful. I feel like he should put more thought into the things he does, and so I'm feeling kind of frustrated with him at the minute. I will see you guys later. Bye.